Hi, I'm Bob West, Program Director, Radiobob, our West Video. And we're doing another in our video series, and what we're talking about today is SIT, which is called Systems Integration Testing. Something they do in the rocket industry, and something you should think about if you're like an adventurer, an enthusiast, or something like this is, in our case, we're a radio station that goes out in public, where we present ourselves, and we do that with a pile of bags, obviously, that I'm going to show you at some point if you haven't already seen them, and show you how to put things in them and what things you need, and the reason why I do certain things to try and make it easier to market what I do, which might make it easier to market what you do. So, unless you have a lot of money, most of us live in what we call a 10 by 10 space. So in other words, we have a 10 by 10 canopy, and that's what they give us. Or we're at a trade show or an interior function of some kind, and they're going to give us either 8-foot front, 10 wide, or they're going to give us 10 by 10 again. And what's really funny is that most people pay for 10 by 10 and never use it. I don't know why they even go to the show when they do this, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So anyway, I normally place all of this in a pop-up tent, and then I have my name across the front of the pop-up tent, and I don't have anybody's name on the top of that, although I am a sponsored individual, which means if somebody wanted to pay for a tent, I'd gladly lug it around and put it above me if you're going to pay me to do it. It's a pretty simple concept, really, but you have 10 foot of front, and the first thing I want to make sure that everybody understands is if you have 10 foot of frontage, you've got to make it usable and friendly, and you might as well profit from its position, because at some shows you can't put those stupid little flags out on both sides, and believe me, when I'm the guy next to you, I don't want you to. So what I want to do is, since I'm a radio station, I play my music, and I want you to be able to hear my music when you approach me from 10 feet away. It's the same thing if I was at a trade show and I'm looking at your badge, and I know that the red badges are one thing and the yellows are another, and I'm looking at those 10 feet away. Well, I'm looking for your interaction as you pass by. You start dancing, you say something, you look at my booth, whatever it is, and then I can engage you. If I really feel the need to bring in, I know people love this one. This is called a pencil trick. Pencils are cheap, they're flat, they have your website on them. When you hand them to somebody for a very slim moment in time, they're grabbing the other end, you can pull them towards you, and I get them to stop long enough for you to say hello. Why is that important? Because we want to communicate with everybody on the planet. That's why it's important, but it gives you something to hand out to contractors. We have these little duckies and stuff that we hand out to kids, so we tend to work the front of our booth. It's a little unnatural, but we do, because we have this music, we have this interaction. But at the same time, if we feel that we're going to get into a long conversation, or we want people who are truly interested in us to engage us, rather than stand in front of some sort of speaker making a ton of noise, we want to make sure that they can enter our space and we can carry on a conversation at a reasonable volume right here. And so we're going to talk about that in a minute. But when you're talking about using the front, use the front, right? We have a small table because we have this entrance. So we have what we do right on it. So when people look at it and they're listening to the music, they know right away who we are, they know how much it's going to cost them, and what's available from us. And we even make use of the end caps, because in some places we know the fence is always a little short, or we're out at a racetrack and people can see those ends. And since we're open on this side, why not use this as well as an advertising point over here? So we're very big into, not only are we going to use the front of our booth, but we're going to catch your eye. There are people that exist in a video world. They like video. They gravitate, gravitons, whatever the term is, towards that video. So I have one screen here, it's video. And it has videos of the work that I've done and the events we've attended, so that we can engage them in conversation that's positive, and then we share other positive images or talk about what we do on the station there. However, we have no audio coming from that because we're always playing noise, right? Rock and roll, jazz, blues, surf music, this is what we do. So then over here, we have another one. And this one is dedicated to static photos from events that we've had, but also carries our sponsor information. So every once in a while, a sponsor page will come up and it'll talk about one of our sponsors. So our sponsors, the people who donate and make this happen, are seen digitally in front of our booth all the time with us. If I was a race car team and I had a bunch of sponsors, I'd have a photo frame like this that showed my previous races, and then it showed my sponsors and how to get a hold of them and pictures of things I've done, my kids, my dog, and the rest of that stuff, because it's important to me, but it catches the eye and it lets people know that you're actually carrying through what you said you were going to do. And we're big believers in that. Last thing about the front of your booth before we move inside is to talk about the flyers. Now we have really cheap printed flyers here. We have them for a reason, because some people like what you do and are busy. Some people like what you do, but they don't like to talk to people. So they'll go and they'll read still, which thank you for that. So we have video, we have static, we have our communication, and then for those people that are just too dang busy to do anything, we have possibilities. All we want them to do is take a page. The back of each page is basically the same, providing you with the information that you need. The front of the page is designed to catch your eye at a different level. In other words, a different level or way of looking at what we do as our nonprofit station. So I'm going to move the camera in just a hair closer, make it easier for me, and give it a talk about the inside of the booth.